In the village of Ravensmoor, excitement rippled through the air as preparation began for the wedding of the century. The stately Horth Manor, perched on the outskirts of the village, was a flurry of activity as final touches were being put on the decor. Eleanor, the captivating daughter of the village's wealthiest family, was about to be wed to Damien, a mysterious stranger who had made his presence known just a few months earlier. Eleanor, who was an intelligent and kind-hearted young woman, had been the pride of her family and the envy of many. She had a passion for art and gardening, and often spent her days tending to her exotic plants in the estate's greenhouse. Months before the wedding, Eleanor had been wandering through the lush forest surrounding Ravensmoor, collecting rare plant specimens. She was drawn to the beauty and mystery of the natural world, and the forest offered her an escape from the expectations of her high society life. Deep in the woods, she stumbled upon an ancient stone circle, partially hidden by the overgrowth. Intrigued by her discovery, she stepped into the center of the circle and felt an inexplicable surge of energy. Unknowingly, she had activated a dormant portal that summoned Damien to our world. When she first laid eyes on Damien, she was captivated by his otherworldly presence. He appeared as if from thin air, his eyes hers with an intensity that made her heart race. Though Eleanor was initially cautious around the mysterious stranger, his charm, handsome appearance, and knowledge of the arcane arts drew her to him like a moth to a flame. Over the following weeks, Damien began to visit Eleanor at her family's estate, bringing her rare and exotic plants from lands she had only read about in books. Their conversations grew deeper, and she found herself opening up to him about her dreams and desires. Damien shared stories of his travels through dimensions and the secrets he had uncovered about the universe. Eleanor was enchanted by his tales, and soon they became inseparable. Despite the whispers and disapproval from the villagers, Eleanor's love for Damien only grew stronger. Her parents, initially wary of the mysterious stranger, eventually gave their blessing for the union, swayed by Damien's apparent devotion to their daughter and the potential benefits his knowledge could bring to their family. And so, the grand wedding was planned, and the village of Ravensmoor eagerly anticipated the event. Throughout their courtship, Damien had been preparing for the dark ritual that would culminate on their wedding day. He saw in Eleanor not just a kindred spirit, but the perfect vessel for his sinister plan. As their love blossomed, he wove his dark magic into their lives, binding her to him in ways that would make her fate both inevitable and irreversible. Though Eleanor had sensed the power that pulsed beneath Damien's enigmatic exterior, she could never have predicted the true depths of the darkness that awaited her on the day of their wedding. It was her love for Damien that blinded her to the danger she faced, and ultimately sealed her fate, along with that of her family, friends, and the village of Ravensmoor. As the guests began to fill the extravagant ballroom of the manor, a hauntingly beautiful melody played by a string quartet enveloped the room, casting a spell of enchantment on everyone present. The high ceilings adorned with intricate frescoes, and the flickering candlelight reflected in the gilded mirrors, adding to the mesmerizing atmosphere. Eleanor, wearing a flowing white gown that seemed to shimmer with an ethereal glow, appeared at the top of the grand staircase, her vibrant green eyes locked with Damien's, who was clad in a tailored black suit that accentuated his dark and enigmatic aura. The couple exchanged secretive smiles that hinted at the depths of their connection. "Are you ready, my love?" Damien asked softly, his voice barely audible over the hushed whispers of the guests. Eleanor nodded, her eyes brimming with excitement. "More than anything." As the ceremony proceeded, a sense of unease began to creep through the room. The officiant's words seemed to hold an unnatural weight, and the candlelight flickered as if responding to a sinister presence. Guests felt a chill run down their spines, but they attributed it to the excitement of the event. It wasn't until the bride and groom exchanged their vows that the true horror began to unfold. Eleanor's lips met Damien's in a passionate embrace, but as they pulled apart, her once radiant face began to contort in agony. A guttural scream escaped her throat, and her body convulsed violently. "What's happening to me?" Eleanor cried out, her voice distorted by pain. The guests looked on in terror as Eleanor's skin began to blister and blacken. Her bones cracked and snapped, reforming into grotesque shapes that were anything but human. Before their very eyes, she had transformed into a monstrous creature, her piercing cries filling the room. Panic ensued as the guests tried to flee, but the doors and windows were sealed shut. Damien, unharmed and unfazed, stood amidst the chaos with a sinister grin on his face. As the monstrous Eleanor tore through the crowd, he muttered ancient incantations under his breath, and the room began to grow darker and colder. One by one, the guests succumbed to their nightmarish fate. Some were devoured by the beastly bride, while others succumbed to the darkness itself, their souls seemingly consumed by an unseen force. The string quartet continued to play, their music now a cacophony of discordant notes that filled the air with dread. As the last of the guests met their grisly end, Damien approached the grotesque creature that had once been his bride. "You were the perfect vessel, my dear," Damien said, his voice cold and devoid of emotion. "Now the ritual is complete." He whispered a final incantation, and Eleanor's monstrous form crumbled to the ground, leaving nothing but ashes. The Grand Horth Manor, now a tomb for the once jubilant wedding party, stood in silence. Damien emerged from the wreckage, his dark purpose fulfilled, and disappeared into the night, leaving Ravensmoor forever changed by the unhallowed vows that had sealed its fate. As the village struggled to come to terms with the horror that had befallen them, whispers of accursed love spread like wildfire, and the legend of Eleanor and Damien's doomed union became a chilling tale that haunted the dreams of generations to come.